we're going to jump into now strategy circle. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of context, a little bit of information about it. Then we're going to do one as an example. So there'll be someone in the audience we'll do this with. And we'll get you guys to work on this. Because what we're going to do straight after that is we're going to break out into our group sessions. You guys have been pretty good at working in your groups already, which is really exciting to see. But after that, we want to get you guys to work on it. So what you're going to have is, once we go through the strategy circle section, you guys are going to have 15 minutes each to table something that you want to work on and improve upon for your business. It might be something that you picked up from Greg, it might be something that you picked up from yesterday. It could be something completely different, completely up to you guys. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through 15 minutes each, where you guys can all support and help each other. So you as the, we'll explain a little bit more when we get there, but you as the person who's sharing what it is you want to focus on, your only goal, unless you get asked a question, is basically to shut up and write notes. Right, so we don't want to because what's going to happen is, I've tried that, or no, this is not why, but again, we allow people to ask you questions, help you overcome whatever it is that you want to focus on, and just take copious notes so you can work out and have all these ideas. Afterwards, you can filter through, keep what you want, get what you don't. But that's going to do it. Make sense for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any questions before we start on that? No. Does anyone remember / have heard of strategy circles before? Ken? Yeah? You good? Because it was your idea? Yeah.
Ken's like, this sounds great.
Yeah. I invented it.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, we always love to give due to the person that actually created this. This has not been created by myself. It's not being created by Ken. This is created by Ken?
Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan. He's basically 110 years old. He's coached people since he was 10 years old. Countless amounts of experience, but he's created really good models and strategies to be able to help overcome problems for entrepreneurs. If someone basically said that they were a coach and they learned things, it's probably a descendant of someone who's learned from Dan Sullivan. But it's been passed on from people to people and to other generations, because as I said, he's getting on in this. He's getting there, but the stuff that he teaches is phenomenal. So anyone who's a new age kind of guru that's coming through has definitely got stuff from him. So what you guys will have is a strategy circle section, so you don't have to try and draw my amazing perfect circle. The circle is some lines, right? So that's the section we want you guys to have a look at. The purpose and premise is that in the middle, what we want to identify is what our core goal is, right? And this is all going to be based upon the mode principle: vision, opposition, transformation, action. This is essentially a step-by-step process of what we will go through. Vision is what is the goal that you have? What is the vision for what it is that you want to achieve? Opposition, we're going to come up with at least 10 things that will oppose you from achieving that goal. Transformation, we will then come up with 10 strategies to overcome that. Action will then be cool. Who's going to do it? Is it you? When is it going to be done by? And you put together a hierarchy and you walk through from there. Whatever's the easiest and most impactful from there will be what we first start with. Has anyone ever had tasks and things that they have to do and you're I don't really know the specific order in which I should do them? Yeah? Cool. So what you want to do for that, and I'll come back to this, get another marketing legend, guy's name is Greg Kassar. Really cool. He taught me this, which is the ease and impact grid. So if you imagine, and I'll move out the way so people behind me, ease and impact, those are your X and Y axes, if you will. Right? Ease and impact. What you want to do is plot what you have to do. You figure out all these strategies you're going to implement. Plot these based on what has the most ease and which has the most impact. What do you think would be the task that you would start with? Easiest impact. Yeah. So the easiest, most impactful would be what you would start with, right? If it's super hard, not very impactful, where do you think that would sit?
Last.
At the bottom, yeah, right towards the end. So what you'll do is, you're going to have this and you've got a list of things that you need to do. We go through and go, cool. We have task A, super easy, super impactful. Might just be make more calls. Pretty easy to do, relatively impactful. You might be build a complete new CRM system based on all the things you've learned for the last couple of days, import all of your leads into it, and build a follow-up sequence inside of that. Probably not that easy, but quite impactful. And you've got all the different things that you have at varying different levels based on how easy and how impactful it's going to be. And and then you know what to prioritize. You kind of work your way through. You go, cool, that's going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, 6, 7, 8. Release gives you a specific process to go through. Like Tim and I were just chatting at lunch about someone who said, cool, if you just did 100 reach outs a day, you'd change your business, right? It's ridiculously impactful, not necessarily that easy because people will just get lazy. They'll do 5 and they'll be like, cool, done. So we said 100, but cool, yes, 5 is not sure. But it's quite impactful. So if you can go through and figure out this process and actually apply your, whether it be your motivation or your drive towards the goal you have for your business and why, super easy to make a decision. Because it's just like, well, where does it sit on the grid? That's what I do first. So if you've ever been overwhelmed or struggled to, how do I prioritize? That's what you do. And look, sometimes it might be counterintuitive because you're like, I have shit to get done. That's cool. You still have shit to get done after you do that first time. Right? It's always going to be there. Has anyone gone into emails and you're like, oh my god, I email from a client about this or that, and I've got to respond to them, and that's going to take all my time. Has anyone done that? Yeah. Guess who that's a problem for? Yeah, not for you. Doesn't mean that it has to drop to the top of your priorities. Yes, we want to make sure our clients are getting good results and we're helping them, but just because there's an email, that doesn't mean it needs to be responded to straight away. So if you work through this, that'll make your guys' lives 10 times easier. Fair? Right. Yep. All right. So what I'm going to do is give everyone just a minute or two now. Just write down what is one goal that you want to focus on to move your business forward. Again, whether that be something you heard from Greg, and that's what you ascertained the last couple of days, it could be completely different. But in the middle of the circle, I want you guys to write that in there now. Because we're going to workshop one together. And then after that, we're going to get you guys to focus on doing those for the next 20 minutes or so for your own individual business. And then does anyone want to volunteer on this trip? Well, yes. First thing, that's rest. So yeah, quickly. So that's not really a goal, right? Because if you nurture them, what's the outcome of that? Yeah. So we want to increase sales. Yeah? So you want to make sure that it's like a little bit higher level, because one of the ways to increase sales is going to be to negotiate. Yeah. So increase sales. Right? And now, everyone got the goal. Yep. Everyone got one? It's very clearly says sales. You're welcome, copy and play along. Alright. Now, just because these are some of her specific obstacles doesn't mean you guys have to take those obstacles for yourself as well, okay? These are hers, alright? Don't try and pick any of them up. What we're going to go through first is we're going to identify what are 10 things that are going to get in the way of you increasing your sales. What are 10 obstacles to you increasing your sales? Time. What else is an obstacle to you achieving more sales? Like capacity? Yeah. What else? Client spend is in how much they spend with you or how much they have to spend in total value? So basically your charge rate, and what was the other one, sorry? Yeah, and then how, like the recurring rate? What else? Yeah, competition. What else? Yeah. So like, is then say, you know, like the sales process and everything as well?
Yeah.
What else? Skills with a Z. Yep. So like your audience. Remember that's slash audience. What else? Economy. Stupid economy. What else? What kind of business do you like everyone to audience? What about like what's your flow like of like leads you acquire? Yeah. So that probably so it would increase sales with getting more leads, potentially be something that would hinder it if we don't get more inquiry. Yeah. Cool. Alright. Would everyone agree there, like there's quite a few obstacles. Right? Quite a few things that are going to get in the way. Probably should just shut down business, to be honest. Like I probably wouldn't. So just cool. So now what we're going to look at is on the inverse side of the strategy circle is going to be the strategies that will overcome each and every single one of these. Because with every problem there is a solution, right? Like I said yesterday, none of us have problems that haven't been solved. Here we are. So, time. What's the strategy that she would implement to make sure that she has enough time to increase sales?
Sleep less.
I'm worried on it, but
Yeah, tick doing that. Like, what do we think? What are some ideas? What are some strategies that she might be able to implement?
Get up earlier.
Unblocking virtual assistants,
SMS.
Yeah. So we've got
systemizing, coordinating.
team.
My idea was better.
Sorry.
Sleep less.
is that because you pretend it's
Yeah, I was like, girl.
Yeah. She's like my whole program. Like, team, time blocking. What about just what I said before, right? Like mapping tasks.
increased traffic?
VA. We'll come back to that. That'll go forward to another one, right? But is there any other strategies that she could do to increase in her assumptions? Pretty good at this. We've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5. 5 different strategies that you can literally take at a time. Say we've got some good strategies to work with there. Cool. Capacity. What could we have? What could we do to have more capacity? Outsource, yeah. Again, we could have some more team. What was that, sorry?
Like look at different offers that are potentially easier to produce but can sell more of.
Yeah.
So instead of like a 20-hour pay maybe topics.
Yeah. Steph, you want to just jump up? Okay, go. No. I'm just going to run up. Steph's like, oh, this is easy, guys. Come on. But like a lot of these, well, literally the reason why I say this like joking is like exactly what Greg just went through. Like do a order with the business for all your offers and everything like that. Because then if you do that, you'll probably find that there's some unproductive ones, and like Steph just said, like creating offers that are going to be more scalable for you is going to be probably the easiest way to have capacity. Unless you really want to work with like a bajillion people and like get paid the same as backers hours. If you do, then please don't do it. Right? Keep doing that. That's fine. Rate of charge. Strategies. Yeah. Right. Hey, price better. What else?
Upsell.
Yeah. Upsell. Package.
Sales.
Second sale. One of my first mentors in sales, Gulliver, taught me the second sale. It works super well. So basically, like when someone has said that they want to do something, and you've got their card details just out to process it, just give them something they want to add on. Like, and what about this? 80-90% chance that you're putting together. Like I don't really look at sometimes a lot of stuff that goes on in the like the more corporate and like bricks and mortar space. But my current girlfriend works for a Adairs. So I hear all the stuff that goes on about Adairs and stuff like that. I've been to a few of their stores. Like one of their biggest metrics is single item purchases. That has to be as low as possible. But how well, like let's say Steve's gonna buy a quilt, right? Let's go with the haberdashery focus here, right? Steve's gonna buy a quilt. He comes in and why is he getting a quilt? I'm like, Steve, what about pillowcases? You want some pillowcases to match with the quilt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Details, and that's it, right? Because they know that you've already committed. Like, if no one goes up, picks up a item, takes it to the till, then they bring it up, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry."
So to get the silk spray, so
Exactly. And then you got the wash. Yeah. Right? But all these things, but they all go and they all happen at the point of sale. It's going to be hard to walk around with all the different things and be like, Steve, have some business right, mate, as well, details. When he's there, he's like, yeah, chuck it on. But no one ever goes, oh, actually, no, I'm going to walk away from the test now that I've got the thing I'm going to buy. Same if you're having a phone conversation with them, or if you're having a meeting in person. That conversation was like, that can happen right then and there. Like when Ken sold, when we were running Certified Ballers Live, every time Ken sold someone, I was like, get them to the point of sale and then say, do you want to include a ticket to them to Certified Ballers? I'm pretty sure we got a 5 out of 5 when we did that. Because they're already paying, they're like, yeah, done. I was like, soon you got $700. Like, surely you want to come to Certified Ballers Live, just want me to tack that on for you? And then they're like, oh, yes, please. Yeah. And we don't tell them the total again, but he's push it over. But just by like that second stuff, they don't know, it's okay. Right? So if you can do that and it's like, cool, there's something else that you get out on the top, works really well. So increasing the amount of recurring, like what's the current structure that you have right now, like with your charging cycle? Yeah. Cool. So again, strategies if you wanted to increase the amount of times people purchase. What could we do?
Offer a discount next time come back, just 10%.
Yep,
Like
yep.
loyalty.
Yep.
Birthday.
Paid offer?
Do you know that birthday? I'm sure you sent them an email last year on the birthday to
Wedding anniversary.
I mean, this is all basically like CRM. Right? You have all that stuff in there. But again, like when people come back, like there's a lot of restaurants will do this. So really famous one in the US, what they would do is if Nash is coming in and she's having dinner, first time that she comes in, she gets a white serviette. Right? Next time that she comes in, she gets the red serviette, which they try. So that they know that every time the person who has a white serviette is their first time, they have to make sure that they're going to come back. And so at the end of the meal, they'll be like, next time you come in, look, hit your boyfriend, your husband, he loves beer, here's a complimentary beer on us next time you come in. But they only do that to people with white serviette. People with the red serviette, they still give it, and then they go, cool, what can we do to bring them back next time? It's like, well, if you bring a group of 3, then we've got this offer for you. So they have like strategic offers lined up for them based off of the next things that will go from there. That makes sense? So having those recurring things. Competition, how can we eradicate competition?
Education.
Education, yep, what else?
Free resources.
Resources,
Quality product.
quality product, reviews,
Collaborate.
yeah. A big one.
Slide people wrong.
What was that?
All councillors.
Yeah. This guy's making cakes in his backyard.
You could bring in cake tomorrow and then we could all post about it.
And she's like, and I really like chocolate.
Salted caramel is really nice.
But the thing is, like, we all individually think of competition, but in reality, there's no competition. Right? Do you think that there's enough people in Perth making cakes for people in Perth making cakes?
Yeah, but it's like you've got people like, well, they do it for $120.
Yeah, but again, that comes down more to your like skills and sales process. Like I've spent some pretty stupid money on cakes before. Like, and not because I never shop around, it's like, but I see something, it's like, cool, I want the thing in the picture. I remember calling like, I don't eat seafood, but I was getting seafood, like a sashimi platter for someone else. And they were like, can you order this for us and bring it when you come over like, to a dinner party? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, you give the guy who doesn't eat fish the sashimi platter, like, sure. Like, I'll go and find that out. So I just called them up and I was like, hey, you know, like the 4th picture on your Instagram? Can I just get that? And then they're like, yeah. And that was what I got and I ordered and picked up and paid for. But again, it's like competition. If you have price shoppers, that's probably a slightly different thing than competition. Because I can also go to like to Woolies and get a chocolate cake for $4. Yeah, exactly. And I can get 2 for $8. Right? Yeah. So competition again, like I would kind of like eradicate a little bit if you increase something down here, then it will kind of be not too much of a problem. No sales process, what can we do about that?
Yeah, sales process.
A lot of these are just literally the opposite of what it is, right? Like, have the sales process. And the problem with most people that are good entrepreneurs is that they probably don't have too much of a sales process. Because they are so confident in certain what they do. Tim probably doesn't have a sales process that he follows to the T every single time. I would hazard a guess.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, for you, not teaching people.
Yeah.
Steph, do you have an exact sales process that you follow each and every single time to the T? No, because you guys are the business owners. You guys are certain and confident in what you do. Carrie, I'm going to say the same for you. If Sue's sitting there watching you sell and then tries to copy you, she will sell like crap. Accurate? Yeah. Right? Because it's not because you guys are not doing the right thing. It's because you are a business owner. But it's very hard to do that when you want to try and increase your sales. If you can't just put more things in the top and get more things out the bottom. Like, because if you're not following the process every time, you can't pinpoint what it is. And at the beginning, everyone has to start with the process. And then you can go off script and off book like everyone else. So having a sales process in place, just being like, cool, I want to make sure I ask these 3 questions. I'm going to understand why they want to have this, what's the occasion for. It's because my mum really liked it when she was younger and like she wanted to have this cake and that's what I'm going to get her sort of thing. Understand that, which also falls into your skills. Like, how can we increase our skills? Upskill. Get more of it. Yes. Skills, again, it's like, it's repetition, right? That's what Amy said yesterday. The worst thing I think that most people would ever want to do would be practice sales. Because it's like, you're like, this is stupid. Right? Just practicing sales. Let me try and sell you a cake right now. Right? You're like, you probably don't want to sit there at home and practice reps of selling something like that. But if you do it and increase it, one way is to try and get more people like to practice and do things with, or just practice in real life environment. Like I said to you guys yesterday, I did 60 hours of sales calls once in a week. It was not fun, but at the end of it, my skills were very high. So by doing that, so just getting in some extra reps in whatever way possible, even if it's getting leads. That's what I always say to people, sometimes they're new salespeople, even if you have someone that's unqualified, go through the whole sales process with them. If you get them on the phone and they're interested, like, they're like, cool, I have no budget, it's like, great, I hear you. But so tell me, like, what's the purpose of this? Like, what do you want to do? What are we celebrating? Go through the whole thing. At the end, you can still tell them the price, even if they say no, but you get the repetition. Because most people will be like, oh, I've got someone, I want to increase in my performance, but they're not going to buy from me. It's like, well, cool, it's a learning experience. Like, why not go through the whole thing? You might even actually get a sale at the end of the day anyway. Demographic or audience, what's the strategy that we can do to overcome that? Market research. Yeah. Or like again, we can do research, what else could we do?
What's the problem? Demographic.
What's the problem with the demographic?
Just it's like expanded demographic or audience.
Expanding. Yeah. So
Getting more eyes on the business.
yeah, what can we do to get more eyes in the business?
Ads. Can you
We can do
Really
Content.
expand platforms.
ads, yeah, platforms, what else? Anything else?
sponsor events or people or things.
Yeah, sponsorships.
Targeted, that would be targeted.
Anything else? What can we do about the economy?
What was that?
What can we do about the economy?
I never do.
Wait till
Talk with suppliers and see if you can create relationships.
supplier relations,
And contingencies. Some cupcake instead of cakes.
You default rather than a single line. You can get like a referral so that you're continuing on a subscription type service so that you actually have to have that amount of ingredients in the menu.
Partner out with great companies.
Again, more partnerships, more collaborations.
Do you have a wastage of cupcakes and stuff when you're done?
No,
Like
I
you
don't
cut
know
it?
if I photo shoot, no, I just like do one.
I don't know if you follow the Cake Collective,
Yeah,
and
cake
they have
boxes.
those cake boxes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that name? Yeah, and I've seen other people that are doing it as well, but I mean, it's a great way for people to try your cakes at a cheaper
Yeah.
rate. And then, like, I've done that and then gone back to buy more
Yeah.
because I've had a taste of what they like. So.
Could you expand your product offering in a way to make it more budget?
Yeah, I mean, but also, like, again, the economy, in my personal opinion, can be something that can be overrun just by, like, hard work, knowing your business, knowing your product, because, like, people are still buying things.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, the economy is really tough. And I was like, Coldplay still sold out in 10 minutes. Taylor Swift sold out in 10 minutes. Like, everything that's going on at the moment, like, people are still spending money, but they're being more discerning on what to spend.
Everyone's still buying houses.
Like, people are buying and paying for stuff and all that sort of stuff. Like, everyone still went to the Matildas. Like, you know what I mean? The tickets that when they're coming here are all sold out. Like, people are still spending money. This is always my argument at Christmas time when people are like, oh, people aren't spending money. It's like, no, they're spending more money than ever. You just got to make sure that your product is one that they spend on. So that also come down to a little bit of like skills, but also audience. Like, tap into the people that are going to just happily pay what the price is. Like, I don't think I've ever bought anything as a product that I've tried to negotiate on price. Be like, I can get over here for this. And then lead, what can we do to get more leads with strategy there? Yeah, so we can do, obviously, like, we can do ads, we could do some, like, JV, we could do some cross promos. I would just always make sure that anytime you do anything, do not ever give up the opportunity to capture a lead. Like, I see people go and do events, and they do, like, I went to the Good Food and Wine show, and I was like, man, these wineries are so stupid. Like, they don't catch any information. I'm there drinking their stuff. Even when I bought their stuff, I'm like, I'm a buyer, but they have no way to communicate with me now. And they're the loveliest people, don't get me wrong, right? There's all the lovely people and like they're great, but it's like they always miss the opportunity to capture that. Because if I just bought from you, in a couple of months, I'm going to run out of what I just bought. Good time to send me an email and being like, hey, new stock, this is just released, what's happening, this is coming through. That a lot of people miss out on. So if you do anything, I always highly recommend. It doesn't matter if it's ads, like if you like events, and a few of you guys mentioned that you want to look at doing some events and things like that. The database is going to be the most important thing to catch on. Because again, that becomes an asset, that becomes something that you can have and you can leverage. And it's like, yes, awareness and things like that are great, but if you don't have that opportunity to capture a potential lead and contact them at some point in the future, I think it's just a little bit of a waste of opportunity. Does that make sense for everyone? So you guys, can you see how, like, if you can put together all of the things that are going to hold you back, you can very easily come up with all the different strategy that you can use to overcome, right? So now, your task would be is to plot out which one of these different tools work. Sorry? Yeah, we can give you one of these back. Yeah, I'll rip off it. No problem. I'll sign it. Can't sign it. Yeah. No one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, both. But yeah, so now what we're going to do is I want you guys to all work through this. So with your specific goal that you have, list out all of the objections, all of the things that are going to hold you back from achieving it, and then let's work on the different strategy to put in place. A lot of times we look at what our goals are and how we're going to get there, but if you look at all the things that are going to get in the way, it's very easy to put plans in place to be able to overcome all of them. This obviously doesn't just apply for business. Put in here like weight loss or muscle gain or anything else. Like, this is for living life. I think Dan's book is called Your Life as a Strategy Circle. So it literally applies to like every key area, whatever goal it is that you have. Put it in there, put all the hurdles in, then it's easy to come up with it. Because again, if we just look at the simple strategies we think are going to help to get there, and we overlook the specifics that might be going to hold us back a little bit, we want to see how we kind of flip that on its head. Does that make sense for everyone? So I'm going to give you guys an hour. 5-10 minutes, if you haven't already been playing along, to work on yours. So at least list out all of your objections and all of your hurdles. Because then when we go into our group sessions, you can be like, this is my hurdles. That's all you guys, like we all did here, collaborate and help and give each other the strategies. Make sense? Cool. All right, so 5-10 minutes now. Rock and roll. And then we'll come back with the